Down in the southern United States, 5 NASA centers are in the midst of a once-in-a-generation transformation. The space agency is working on a massive rocket called the Space Launch System, or SLS, and a new human crew capsule called Orion. To see how those programs are doing, the Planetary Society went on a 10-day, 450-mile journey across the South. We called it the Rocket Road Trip. Huntsville, Alabama, famous for its southern charm and home of the Marshall Space Flight Center. This is where NASA is designing SLS. The first version of the rocket will be able to lift 3 times more cargo than any vehicle flying today, and the upgraded version coming later will be as powerful as the Saturn V moon rocket.
We are in the hard part now. You can design it, you can build the pieces, but you've got to put it together, and things have to work when you put them together. The bigger and more powerful rockets are more complicated, and if you're going to put a human on top, it becomes more important to make sure that things are going to work and work correctly.
On our visit, we saw the SLS Software Integration Lab. Here, NASA is building and testing the computers that will fly the rocket. The centerpiece of the lab is a full-scale mock-up of the wiring and computer boxes that will be bolted to the inside of the rocket.
We simulate the launch environment. We have models of every avionics box that is going to fly on the vehicle, whether it be the flight computers, which are the brains of the system, whether it be the power systems, everything that controls that vehicle once you press that button.
It operates on a very tight clock that synchronizes everything to a specific system of time so that all of the avionics are operating to one reference.
And this right here is to simulate the engine.
You run a flight simulation from the other room, like the vehicle's taking off, and then maybe you turn some knobs here and that makes it simulate an overpressure in one of the engines to see if the software of the vehicle picks that up and responds correctly to that.
Yes, exactly. But initially we'll start out in a nominal flight, so we won't have any errors.
Nominal first, probably.
Yes.
Most of the rocket gets built down in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we'll head there in our next video. But we wanted to show you one section that does get built here at Marshall, the Launch Vehicle Stage Adapter. It's the sloped connector that holds Orion to SLS.
They bring the 2 cones together, they machine a little groove, they feed a stainless steel ribbon through there, and there's a pickup. And so as they pick up that ribbon, the clamps hold the 2 cones securely together. Then they do a little skim friction stir weld around the circumference to tack it, if you will. And then there's a cutter that cuts that ribbon and the 2 halves fall away. And now you've got a secure mating of the surfaces so you can do your final friction stir weld.
The adapter is being built by a company called Teledyne Brown here in Huntsville.
Teledyne Brown is about 63 years old. It was originally brought to the Huntsville area to support Wernher von Braun. And so we've grown up supporting space and missile defense, which is what he brought to Huntsville when he brought his team here.
We have a lot of capabilities, but we need the small businesses as teammates to be successful in our journey to Mars with NASA. But we also have socioeconomic goals on our prime contracts. So in the past, you could be a great woman-owned small business and you would be one of few. Well, today, the technology and the capabilities that these companies have today are very mature.
That's actually baked into your contracts that you get, that you have a social responsibility to try to make the country better while going to Mars.
Mm-hmm. And some of these are, a lot of these are mom and pop shops, maybe 2nd and 3rd generations.
So, we gave you a glimpse into how NASA is designing the rocket, and we even showed you a couple pieces of it. But where does the rest of it get built? To answer that, we're heading into the bayou for part 3 of our rocket road trip. If you want to dig deeper into NASA's human spaceflight program, be sure to visit planetary.org/Horizon Goal. There, you can read our multi-part story series on space policy and rocket science.